Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the technical momentum outlook for week 50 of 2017. Hey, as always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only, to support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day or week. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right. Jedis. We are, speaking of Jedis, awesome Star Wars movies coming out. And, but as far as the markets are concerned, simply not a Jedi week. Not one of my favorite trading weeks, as price action on the markets, crossovers finishing up this week on the contracts. You got platforms crossing over Thursday, Friday, kind of split volume contracts. Adds a little bit more volatility. That's where we were in week 49. So let's take a go ahead, jump right into the charts. Week 49. I'm running a little bit here behind on the weekend, so I'll get that recap for the week as I do each week. So week 49 recap post, and then week 50 outlook will be posted here momentarily as Globex Sunday about to open up in a couple hours. And the first cryptocurrency seems to be at the head of the headlines as the first futures will be rolling out on the CBOE global markets and the CME to follow next week. All right, so let's go ahead, jump right in. Week 49, we can see definitely a pullback. If you go back and read each week's technical momentum outlook, I always make the case that there's always a possibility for a pullback. There's always both sides. As an intraday trader, you got to be ready in both directions, definitely. But as the long term or the swing trader, a little bit different trends. And, are we headed higher or are we headed lower? Well, all I can tell you is right now, we definitely came down in week 49. There was a small case to be made for that as price action pulled back as contracts are rolling off. Still a large investment in the market, still at the highs here. And so at this point, I can't and won't make that call to say, yep, we're at the tops. That's it. Somebody else can make that call. Leave it to those crystal ball experts. But for me, I still see just a small pullback and a regain, as we can see here on the NQ in week 49. Again, the volume a little questionable towards the end of the week, so we'll have to see how that plays out in week 50 as we roll into FOMC this week. But again, pullback from the all-time high in the RTY, gets a bit of lift through the remainder of the week. NQ really pulling up, only leaving us one open gap. YM taking care of its open gap there on Friday, and ES leaving an open gap. But again, 2 days downside, selling off, a little bit of mixture of, political landscaping, and again, about tax reform, maybe just closing out December contracts, end of the year 2017, taxes, etc., etc. Nothing surprising there. Again, when you look at the big picture, you take a look at a weekly, you can appreciate, obviously, the nice run-up since last year. We're already on a 13-month run-up here, and price action hitting these MML highs. So, current trends still remain strong above key moving averages and holding upside. And as we continue to hit one MML, Murray math level after another, you can see the frame of time here continues to shorten, and those levels start to consolidate. That's when I'll start to look for the possible turnaround. But again, solid trend to the upside in ES, and pretty much not as much a strong trending week as week 48, as we had a long hanging tail, but definitely closing up near the highs. A little bit of a doji indecision bar there. All right, so ES holding up strong above key moving averages. Started to lose a little bit of that there at the beginning of the week, came down to the 10, but all moving averages in sync to the upside. I'm not going to change any outlook at this point to say it's coming down until I start seeing moving averages crossing over and I see price action starting to move down again. I know there's those that out there that want to call those tops, but I'm not one of those. I'm watching the current, and I'm watching what's going on the charts. Taking a look at the SPY there it is, price action on the ETF, index upside, solid hike in Ashi bar to bang out the end of the week as price action pulled back here to around the 10-period moving average. Again, we got double resistance here on the MMLs here, so I expect 265.63 to be a line in the sand up here to 267.58. We could break above that, and we'll continue to push higher, but I got to go still with the SPY strong for the week on the weekly. There it is, solid trending bar upside up to the short-term MMLs here. We've already broken the longer term down here in the resistance, so currently no question about it as the SPY holds up strong. Obviously we'll have to see what happens in January with the Q4 2017 data. All right, taking a look at those ETFs that support my view of the market. Again, I keep them limited to the sectors and some of the overall total stock market index. I like to look at how is everything overall, not just on the SPY, the NQ, the tech industry, but overall representing. I could see a little bit of a consolidation here. Short-term MML on the VTI, looking up here at 137.50. Again, same number here on the weekly and a strong 2 weeks trending, actually 3 weeks trending here after a couple of weeks of consolidation. So still strong on upside and holding above a key moving average. All right, FFTY, the IBD 50, which actually, as noted, I got to find out where I put that, but IBD 50 coming out with a, not the IBD 50, but the IBD coming out with a ETF following the top leaders in the ETF. So that's soon to come out, so we'll be following that as well. All right, so FFTY, again, we mentioned in week 48 outlook, or week 49 outlook last week, we saw the pullback, so that was one of the things I started to question whether the market was going to be able to hold up. Maybe this was the first indicator the market was slowing down a little bit. Sure enough, yeah, a couple days it continued to pull down, but it pulled down to a short-term MML, 10-period moving average coming down a little bit. But price action definitely bouncing up at the end of the week. So watch caution here as we lead into next week. Is this the resistance here? And we continue to come down. If we do, we'll be looking back down to 32.03 to 31.25. Otherwise, we move our way back up here to 34.38 in week 50. Again, just a small pullback, but I can see where the resistance was, and we'll have to see if that's a follow through. All right. Also, we've been watching the Can Slim 50 mutual fund. Again, no answer there. A little tight squeeze there in week 49 as price action holding at the MML lows, definitely dropped on the 10 EMA, 50 sloping down now. Big picture weekly downside, so could have been just a flush of the fund. Again, haven't gotten any news piece on that, but again, definitely a sign of emptying of the pockets on that fund, as it appears to me. All right, FDN, taking a look at the FANG stocks, one way of investing in the tech industry in an ETF. Price action pulling back here as 10 EMA slopes down, but still holding upside right off the MML lows here on a daily chart, so still strong tech industry. And a little bit of doji action hanging tail there on the weekly as price action still needs to break above this 109.38 for us to get any levels higher on the MML. So right now, trend still holding upside and a turnaround this week as the tech stocks manage to bounce back upside. Looking at the dollar here as price action, there it is. We definitely had the dollar index pointing down, but in week 49, price action bouncing right off the MML lows here. Not only the major support resistance on the bigger picture, but also on the shorter term MML. So halfway, 50% pullback as expected. Dollar gets a little straked here. So again, if we're looking back upside, we'll be looking at 24.61. If we hold here and we turn back downside, we'll look back down to 24.22. We are in a definite downturn as we're holding under the key moving average here on a weekly, but a lot of chop here, a lot of indecision. We'll just have to see what happens with FOMC. Not to be much of a surprise this week as price action just in a quandary here, but overall still dollar index sliding down here on the ETF. All right, and in the news, can't miss it here. Bitcoin, where's Bitcoin on an MML? Well, definitely holding upside, hitting that $16,000 mark. Amazing. Price action holding upside above all key moving averages. I got to still go with Bitcoin to the upside, but again, resistance here all week, 4 days. Any breakout, we'll be looking for a solid Heikin Ashi bar trending up. Again, this is here already on Sunday's price action. We can see here double resistance here on the weekly, looking to break above 15,000. If it can hold, then we'll get in some other short-term MMLs, looking all the way up here to 17,500 for week 50. If unable to hold there and it comes back down, watch for the first level here at 12,500 and then down to 10,000. That's the deeper drop there on the Bitcoin. All right, Jedi traders, that's the recap as we head into week 50. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. Currently, technical trend on the NIAD, the New York NYSE stocks advancers minus decliners together with the Indu, the Dow index there. We could see what you want to obviously see is you want to see them in congruence. You don't want to see divergence in this. You don't want to see your advancers, decliners coming down and the index going up. So we see them in unison. So I would go with technical trend number one, NIAD holding up very strong. Number two, taking a look at the index, the ETF, the IWJ, sectors, industrials, together with the transports. You want to see them in trend together. That's absolutely what we're seeing. So I got to go with the outlook that market is still holding upside. I got my levels up here to look at, 146.88, including the congruence of 3 MML or convergence of 3 MML timeframes, looking all the way up to 189.84, up to perhaps 192. So first, we'll look at the daily, obviously, through the week, see how we just want to see them in trend together. So big picture, both of the ETFs here, both transports and industrials moving together, giving me an indicator that market is holding up, which might just be another indicator to say that market will hold up in the end. Even though we had a pullback there in week 49, we're still holding upside. All right, as we roll into week 50, we still have some economic data coming out, but right now, price action after last week's lift, we got all-time high sitting up above any downturn at any point. Intraday, we'll be looking for daily gaps a little bit further down on the RTY here on the Russell. We're still waiting for the Russell get all its volume back as the TF unloads a little bit more volume as it starts to close out into 2018. NQ down here, 60.85.75 market on the chart, but before that, 63.07 open gap there from Thursday's open. Why I'm a little bit further down, it's got 3 open gaps. ES closest open gap here, 26.43.75. All right, let's run through the futures charts as we see them every day. Price action looking at on a range chart. Again, that 50 MA held up this week on the, or that was last week actually. Here was Sunday open. That was the pullback here on a larger time frame range chart. Price action still, the cloud here is the range of 51.44 is still holding up in the green. And so we finished out the week in the green, but got to watch that 10 EMA. So if price action's able to break above that 10 EMA and hold up, then I'll be looking at both the daily. Again, intraday, a whole nother picture. You know what those charts tend to look like. They can go in both directions with nice trend. But here we have a daily chart on the RTY. MML held up here at 54.7. That was the high. All-time high there, pulled back on the daily here to the resistance high on the larger time frame with the bar extending all the way to the left. So any pullback in RTY overall will be looking all the way deep down to 1437.5. And I always like to look to see if an MML lines up with a daily gap. And 1405 is the level downside, which definitely would put us somewhere in the weekly past the major support resistance. So we're not going to be looking at that right now. All we want to see is any pullback. You want to watch down here from 1468.8 down to 1437.5. Anything back upside, watch for 1554.7 all-time high. It could also be consolidation. We'll have yet to see. Overall weekly, that's been a little bit of a challenge. So I got to get that breakout above 1546.9 to feel like we're going to get anything higher. So RTY, watch and see. NQ, again, similar picture as price action came down in week 49. Found that support off the 50 MA. We regained the week in an uptrend as price action here on the daily. Hey, went ahead and threw some guppy MMAs. I don't know how many of you follow those. I just threw them on for entertainment there. But it's nice to see that when multiple studies tend to line up, there it is. You found not only the bottom support on the MML short-term, long-term bottom resistance low, but also, you know, the lowest short-term MML guppy MMAs here. But a lot of consolidation over the daily charts, as we could see almost for the majority of latter part of November, is unable to break above this resistance here at 64.25. So any pullback will definitely be looking downside to 59.37.50 as the big support, but we'll have to get past in here 61.91.50. Anything upside, we'll be looking up to 84.50 as NQ on the weekly continues to move upside. So current trend still holding upside, as we saw there on the tech industry. YM holding back above the 10 as we held above the 10 EMA. We're back above the weighted moving average. Range charts 51.44, still holding strong upside and sloping up. So I got to go with the uptrend, looking up to 688 on the YM. Not far to go, but that's enough. Anything higher on the weekly, we're looking up here to 688 as well. So weekly and daily matching up. We can throw a short-term MML on there. We'll probably see something a little bit above, maybe up to 24,800. Any pullback at this point on YM, we'll start to look to the 50%, 22,500, which would put us down here on the daily first level, and that would be resistance low on the weekly as well. But current uptrend holding strong. All right, ES, we saw the big picture. Again, we'll change this 13-month uptrend at this point. Holding here, we look back here. You've been watching me for weeks. You saw when we were down here back in the summertime, we were looking up here. 26.56 is going to be there. We're going to get there. And sure enough, here we are today. So that's why that crystal ball, I can't give that to you to say, look, price action's coming back down. What I'd like to see is I would like to see price action reach up here on the weekly above 26.95.25. I'd like to see it close. If any pullback does come, I'd like to see them come back down underneath 56.25, get a nice trending bar downside. Then I'll make the call for 2,500, and let's go close out some open gaps downside. Till then, I go with the trend upside. You see the levels here. We got the short-term MML, almost found that support downside as we finish off the week back upside. I can't go any smaller time frame than on the 4 square width here. So that's about all I got in the daily as we managed to go from support low to resistance high and almost 50% pullback. Again, taking a look at the range charts, we did get the pullback. We held up around the 10-period moving average, 51.44, still holding upside. All key moving averages in sync. We don't have any crossovers, so I'm going with the momentum to the upside. Hey, looking at crude. Crude's got a wild run as we ran from MMLs. We ran them to the highs here. Short-term MML this week found the support here at major support and the short-term MML. Back upside here to some resistance, multiple levels here. Looking to reach back up to that 58.98 as that would put us perhaps back up near the overbought on the weekly and maybe even up to the reversal 60.94. We did have a rollover in contracts on crude this week, so we'll see how we play out. But again, holding upside. It's been a while since crude holding upside, but those are the levels we want to watch, at least to revisit that 58.98 in week 50. Any pullback, you'll start to look on the daily down to 54.69. 54.69. All right, and looking at gold as Bitcoin surely makes the noise. We did talk about this last week, and definitely there it happened. Gold did come down and found that 1250 support. If you watched last week's video, you'll see that we talked about that. Again, 10 under 50, now ducking under the 200, 51.44. So I got to go with the momentum downside, but with pause here as price action, I'd like to see what will happen on gold as 1250 holds. Now, what I'd like to see is it break below 42.2, and if gold does come back up, you'll see the trending bar above 1250, which means we're headed, to me, back up to 13.12.5. But until then, I got to go with the bigger picture. Right now, we'll see what happens if we break 26.6. I can then start to look at the 1187 here down on the GC. But again, I'm no expert here. I'm only watching what's on the charts. I know the MMLs can hold up, but technical support intraday is going to be a whole nother picture. But big picture, you would have grabbed the break below the major support resistance and ridden down here to 1250, at least for the swing trader. But intraday, obviously, you got direction in both ways. All right, Joy Traders, there are the charts as we roll into Globex Sunday. Before I forget, the 30-minute MML, love the 30-minute MML, kind of gives me a picture of, for the short term, at least for the intraday, this is really nice a setup here where price action, we can see that the NQ currently is headed downside, even though on Friday we saw the majority of the move upside, but NQ might test that 47.75 downside here in the Globex session. As the ES still holding up here, 30-minute, if we have any pullback, watch the 50% over here around 51.25. 30-minute RTY holding up here, major support resistance. Any pullback start to look to 15.6, or we revisit 31.3. As we'll roll into tomorrow, we'll take a look at the charts. YM again working its way up from the MML lows here to the highs. 375 would be the number to look at. If NQ manages to hold here, again, you want to look back up to 86.75 and higher 06.25. All right, rolling into the market here this week for week 50. Again, quad witching. I'll tell you, last Thursday and Friday seemed like quad witching in itself. Price action here, looking ahead to the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Again, I'd wait till that gets out. I don't think there's supposed to be any excitement there. And then we have PPI. We have industrial production on Friday, PPI on Tuesday, consumer CPI on Wednesday. So we'll definitely want to watch for that in the early morning. Again, Bitcoin futures to start trading today, and I believe Costco to report earnings this week. So as the month continues to slow down here, again, it seems a lot of focus on the Bitcoin, so keep your headlines there. And if there's any update, obviously, during the week with anything, I'll go ahead and post that. Hey, guys, a shout out to all the traders in the live trading challenge here with Infinity Futures as they have 2 more days left. You can see the net cumulative positive. These are all the winners from the entire year competing in the contest, and they're the totals. So something you might want to consider in 2018 being a part of, and then have a chance at the championship at the end of the year. All right, that is a wrap for the insight into my thoughts of where the market is technically and the outlook for week 50 for 2017. Feel free to stop by here at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My mantra, one simple strategy, any chart, any market, any time frame. You can watch them on range charts, you can watch them on minute charts, tick charts, whatever your choice is. You can find me every day on Twitter at TradingFibs or StockTwits. If you're interested, follow me. You'll get those charts every day. I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I'm only following what's on my chart, so I leave my bias at the door when trading. All right. If you're interested in more information, by the way, in MMLs, you can check out the MML page here. I got a lot of different just give you an introduction. There's videos there to introduce you to the concept if you don't have it, just a supplementary. But, I had some really solid trends last week. Again, I'm going to post them here in a little bit, but when you take a look at what a golden setup is intraday, that's exactly what we're looking for. If you eliminate all the questionable setups, when you're looking for that T3 moving average crossover, this is a hybrid of a new setup that I've been looking at, but again, it's the same strategy. I just changed slightly the numbers of a T3 5 and 10 to a T3 8. Instead of a 534, I've been looking at a 521 on a higher time frame. But if you're patient, you wait for that setup. There it is, solid Heiken Ashi bar trending up. You incorporate the MMLs, a way to take off a contract on the way up. It's a fantastic strategy. I didn't say 100% of the time it's going to work out, but what strategy does. But at least for the intraday trader, being patient for what it is that you're looking for. Just got to be disciplined. Anybody who's looking for anything long-term, I recommend following Jason Kelly, Jason Kelly, the Kelly letter, and following his macro picture of the market, and only look at your investments 4 times a year. That's all you got to do. 4 times a year. Did you make more than 3% or less than 3%? Will help you with your decision on what to do next. Hey guys, if anybody's interested in joining us, like-minded traders in our trading room, looking for those highest probability setups, Feel free to join us during the week. Just email me, David at Trading Fibs. We'll try and get you in, or we will get you in so you can converse with the other members and see what it is like. Hey guys, for week 50, my name is David at Trading Fibs. Have yourselves a Blue Zone day, a Blue Zone week. Have yourselves an awesome day the rest of today. Have yourselves a good night and good trading to you.